This is PlayStation Plus or Minus for September 2017. This month we've got Infamous Second Son and Strike Vector EX on PS4, and We Are Doomed and Hatoful Boyfriend on PS Vita and PS4 cross-buy. And as usual, we're talking about the big one first. Infamous Second Son. Though at this point, I feel like everyone with a PS4 must have made up their minds by now on this one. Infamous 2 was, in my opinion, one of the absolute best games on the PS3, and Infamous Second Son just doesn't live up to the incredibly high bar set by that game. And side note, I feel like Infamous 2 doesn't get nearly enough credit, and it really deserves to be talked about more, but I'm getting off track. Maybe I'll make a video on Infamous 2 somewhere down the line, but in the meantime, how does Infamous Second Son hold up on its own merits? Well, it's very much mixed. The most common gripes that I hear with Infamous Second Son are the quality and length of the story. Neither of these bothered me too much. I mean, Delsin Rowe is kind of a boring, unlikable douche, but at least he's well acted and well animated. The game is certainly on the short side, but honestly, I think the problems are a lot deeper than that. Second Son suffers very much from power creep and a lack of real variety. Delsin is a conduit, but has the unique ability to absorb the powers of other conduits. So through the course of the game, you'll be using smoke, neon, and video powers in that order. And I do mean in that order. So really the problem here is that you can't change elements at will, you have to find a new source to change elements, which means each element has to be able to do pretty much everything that the game asks of the player. Combat is pretty simple, so there's not much need for elements to be specialized, and this makes the different powers all pretty broad and very samey. But they want each new power to still feel good when you get it, and for there to be a sense of progression whenever you get new powers. All of this adds up to one big problem. The last power you get, video, is just the best power. There's no need to use anything else once you get video. It's the best for getting around, it's the best for evading enemies, it's the best for doing damage at close and medium range. Neon is supposed to be better for long range, but guess what? You can just fly up to an enemy's face with video and smash them anyway, so who needs neon? This is a shame because smoke was actually my favorite power, and after a certain point, there's no need to ever use it again. One of my favorite parts of the game is this part where you have to climb the Space Needle, and all you have is your basic smoke powers. The game has this whole really fun, smooth climbing system that you will never use again once you get neon, and then even less once you get video. Sometimes less is more, and this is something that more games need to learn. I would have liked it a lot more if each power had some extreme strengths and weaknesses, but you could switch between them at will. I mean, you've got this whole D-pad here that barely does anything. Why not make that just switch between powers, but make each power a little more specialized? Okay, so that was all really negative, but Infamous Second Son is still an enjoyable game, and if you haven't played it, it's probably honestly worth your time. It does not live up to the previous game, but there is a lot of fun to be had just jumping, shooting, exploding, flying, and graffitiing around the city in this game. The side quests are pretty lacking in number and variety. The story is kinda lame, to be honest. Most of your upgrade points are gonna be spent on really boring upgrades, and it just has some inherent design problems. But at the end of the day, fun is fun, and Infamous is polished and satisfying despite all of its numerous flaws. I'd say just go in and have fun with this one, and try to use all the powers even if you don't really need to. Infamous Second Son gets a plus. But if Infamous 2 were here, it would get 12 pluses, 3 multiplication signs, and a square root. You know, just for perspective. And now moving on to Strike Vector EX, a multiplayer-focused shoot-'em-up that I have much less to say about than Infamous. Let's get the basic stuff covered first. This game has a story, by which I mean it has cutscenes in which things that may or may not be human imitate human speech while static images sit in the corner looking disinterested. Seriously, when a cutscene starts, just do yourself a favor and take out your phone and start swiping on Tinder or whatever and oh, hey, a new match. Jody, 23, nursing student, likes video games. Hey, cool. I was gonna ask her real quick what's her favorite game. Alright, yeah, anyway, so Strike Vector EX, yeah, the story's crap. Enough said. The gameplay is, there? The only game even slightly like this that I've ever played was Hawks, like, years ago, so take my criticism here with a grain of salt, but yeah, here we go. So the gimmick of Strike Vector EX is that your ship has two modes, stationary and fast. I don't know about all of you, but when I play a game called Strike Vector, with a jet that looks kinda cool but not really, the last thing on my mind is being stationary. The idea is that you can play in either fast jet fighting mode or slow third-person shootery mode and switch between them at any time. But aiming is very loose in both modes, and being stationary makes you a very easy target, so I never really wanted to use stationary mode. Plus, sitting far away and taking pot shots at enemies I can hardly see, well, if I wanted that, I would just play Widowmaker, and fuck, god damn it, shit, piece of shit, fuck this, I'm playing Winston. Many times I couldn't join a server, 3 times my game crashed after a match finished, and every time the frame rate was terrible and I was confused and frustrated and just lining up diamonds and hitting buttons until they died. Or more often than that, until I died. Call me mad because bad if you want, but the simple fact is I did not enjoy my time playing Strike Vector EX. The story missions lack variety and challenge, the multiplayer is buggy and annoying, and the game's main gimmick just doesn't really appeal. And also, this is a nitpick, but the strike vectors themselves look pretty stupid, and hey, Jody messaged me back. My favorite game is Strike Vector EX. Strike Vector EX gets a minus. And join me next time where I take a look at the PS Vita cross-buy games We Are Doomed and Hatful Boyfriend. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, etc., do the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.